The Florida State Seminoles are starting the new year while facing substantial and unprecedented penalties for violating the NCAA's limited rules that govern name, image, and likeness deals.
There's been a lot of talk out in college sports about how the NCAA is not doing anything to enforce the N.I.L rules that do exist. And I think the NCAA has wanted to change that narrative for a while.
The NCAA says offensive coordinator Alex Atkins drove a player who was considering transferring to Florida State to meet with a leader of one of the program's booster-driven N.I.L collectives. At that meeting, the booster told the player, who did not wind up on FSU's roster, that he would be paid $15,000 a month if he played for the Seminoles. NCAA rules prohibit anyone from using the promise of NIL deals as an inducement to attend a particular school. And they prohibit coaches from facilitating meetings between prospects and boosters.
I think this is an attempt to try and maybe get a handle on some of that stuff going on and send a signal out to just the NIL space and collectives in general that, hey, we actually are out there policing this stuff, so you need to be careful and follow the rules.
The penalties against FSU mark the first time a football program has been punished for using NIL to lure a player to their campus since athletes started making money 3 years ago. While many in college sports say this practice is widespread, proof of violations has been hard to pin down.
I think the big one is the NCAA does not have subpoena power. So the NCAA really has to rely on getting tips from other schools, or an anonymous person might call them up and say, hey, I heard about this, I'm going to check it out. And from my understanding, that's what happened here.
NCAA officials have told me that they don't believe this is the last case in which they'll be able to prove that a booster or school has violated these NIL rules. And as for the Seminoles, they finally got some good news on Friday, as head coach Mike Norvell, who was not penalized by the NCAA, announced he'll be back next season with a new contract rather than exploring jobs at other schools. For ESPN, I'm Dan Murphy.